boat starts to actually lift out of the water. It starts to elevate. It's called swing. You get if you're a great leader, you're a swinging leader. You can go back to my no-tell motel. So when a crew gets to the place where they're in unison, it's all working together, this strange physics thing happens. Actually, the boat starts to lift a little bit out of the water. And the more it lifts out of the water, the less friction it has. And the less friction it has, the faster it goes. That's what you are doing. That's what great leaders do. That's what you're here for, is to actually figure out how do you help your boat move a little bit higher in the water. That's what the next 25 minutes or so, 30 minutes, we're going to actually talk about how we did that, and we tripled in size. During the dot-com bust, when revenues in the region here went down by 52% for the average hotel in Silicon Valley, 35% for the average hotel in San Francisco, we tripled in size. We became a $250 million company during that time, based upon peak. We started by saying, okay, how do you apply Maslow's hierarchy of needs to the customer experience? And this is how. We said, for our hotel guests, this would be the hierarchy of needs for hotel guests. The bottom of the pyramid is sort of like the Motel 6 value proposition. The less money you spend, the less high you expect to go on a pyramid. All right. We then said, let's take Maslow's hierarchy of needs and actually distill it down to 3 key themes. Because there's really basically 3 themes in life. Survival, succeed, and transform. And they relate to the 5 levels of the pyramid. As you can see, levels 1 and 2 are survival. Levels 3 and 4 of the pyramid, social belonging and esteem needs, are what it feels like when you feel successful. Your social belonging or your esteem needs are being met, and it makes you feel successful. But a lot of us get stuck there and don't realize, man, there's something even higher than that when you feel transformation in that state of being self-actualized. We used this pyramid, transformation pyramid, and applied it, as Blair mentioned earlier, to our employees, our customers, and investors. I'm going to do that rather quickly here and take you through each one. This is the employee pyramid. We're going to show it in a second. But I'm embarrassed as an industry. The hotel industry has 60 to 100% annual turnover of employees. Isn't that terrible? We have 24%. So when it comes to our compensation package, it's about average in the industry. So why? Why are we 1/3 or 1/4 the industry average? It's because of the thing I'm going to show you. What I'm embarrassed about more than that is the fact that we as an industry have been more focused on how do we hold on to our damn hangars so you thieving customers don't steal them. That's our form of innovation. And we spent less time focusing on how to hold on to our employees. So, money, recognition, meaning. This is the employee pyramid. Money, recognition, meaning. Survival, succeed, transform. The baseline, especially in Silicon Valley, is how much money you're getting paid. It's the base of what people are looking for. And generally speaking, it can be a differentiator if you're not a good compensator as an organization, if you don't have a good compensation package. But even though, if you ask the average American leader, what's the #1 reason people leave their company? The answer it's always at the top of the list is money. They think the #1 reason people leave their job is because of money. And it's actually 4th place in American surveys. So money is a base motivator, and you got to get it right. If you don't get it right, you can't move up the pyramid. But the #1 reason people leave their jobs in America is because of their boss. As Marcus Buckingham says, people join a company and they leave their boss. Happens all the time. And so this middle level of the pyramid, and it was nice to be sitting and listening to all the people give their peak performance stuff, you're talking about rewards and recognition. So if you're creating a culture of recognition as an organization, you're more likely to have employee loyalty. For those of you who take the deeper dive into what we're talking about today and read my book, Peak, this is chapter 5 in the book. It's all about recognition. How do you create, what are a lot of different ways to create a culture of recognition? Then at the top of the pyramid is where the magic happens. The magic happens not necessarily in the middle of the pyramid. That's what will create loyalty. But if you look at levels 1 and 2 of the pyramid, they are external motivators. Money and recognition is an external motivator. But when you create an environment where people have a sense of meaning in what they do, strangely, it's an internal motivator. And remember we saw the pyramid earlier, job, career, calling? Well, look at that. It actually lines up. For those who didn't see it, there you go. Job, career, calling. It actually lines up right on each of those 3 levels. So when a person actually feels like they're primarily just focused on the compensation package, more of a job. When they're focused on the combination of the recognition, the career path, the fact that people know where they want to go, the fact that they're actually getting a lot of great training and development, that's the middle of the pyramid. And that's usually a career. But when actually you create an environment, as Gary Kelly talked about with his flight attendants, where people actually feel a sense of meaning in what they do and in what the organization does, that's where you get to the top of the pyramid. Now, how do you do that? You can sort of say, well, we're in the, Cisco, you're in a business like, I don't know. Is there meaning in networking the people of the world? Well, yes, of course there is, very much, in a very abstract way, but how is it meaningful to me? Well, what we learned in my company was the way you help people find a calling, and remember, about 1/3 of the employees in our company clean toilets for a living. That's what housekeepers do, is they clean toilets. They do a lot of other things too. That's one of the tasks they have. What we did is we actually learned from the hospital industry. I was, as Angela knows, I was at Children's Hospital in Boston yesterday giving a speech. A very funny speech. Because it was, I can't tell you. Maybe at the end I'll be able to tell you. But it was really funny. But I talk a lot to hospitals, and what I found in the hospital industry is that the #1 indicator of successful hospitals in the United States is how happy are the nurses. And the difference between happy nurses and unhappy nurses is the difference between a job and a calling. Nurses who have a job look at the